Hold on. Hold on one moment. Wait, is it too late? Oh man. Is it? No, it's not working. It's not this. Okay, so I just pull this out then. All right. All right. Sorry guys, I forgot to put the option in to use it for. Anyways, so I have a workshop starting tomorrow, right? It's a business, well, grooming. So tomorrow's gonna be hands-on grooming. And actually, since it's a small group, we're gonna actually have them around the table. Everybody gets to actually get their hands on, because grooming, I feel like you can't learn how to groom unless you actually do it. So, anyways, but then we're gonna do a business branding workshop part on Sunday, so we can, really focus on what a brand is, how to decide what your brand is going to be, and then how to market that effectively. So that's going to be on Sunday. But I was meeting with Lexi and David T, my favorite dog dad on YouTube. And Lexi's on YouTube as well, Galaxy Art. Anyways, so we were having, we were just talking and everything, and just kind of triggered this. And this is not going to be part of the workshop. So I just wanted to share this because I felt like this was an important distinction to make between what a customer is and what a client is, right? And why I believe it's so important for groomers to understand the difference, because sometimes in the grooming groups and everything, in a lot of groomers, you'll see sometimes they'll say, "Oh, my customers," or well, a lot of groomers these days are saying clients. They're referring to their clients as clients now. So, what is the difference, right, between a customer and a client? And why is knowing the difference, why is that beneficial for us? Here's why. And this is just according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So a customer is someone who purchases goods or services, right? So a customer is somebody who purchases a commodity, a good or product. But it's, I don't want to say services, because services really falls under client, right? So a customer is someone who shops at retail stores, and it's mostly unskilled labor. So it's unskilled, like a cashier would deal with customers, right? Because they're just ringing up the items that they purchased, right? And they're doing a transaction. So that would be, so somebody who is, like, I guess, unskilled, like, it wouldn't be a craft, it would just be someone who is a cashier or a clerk at a store, or even like a cell phone company, someone who's on the phone taking your cell phone order and things like that. That would be a customer. So yeah, I guess that would fall under services. So even though it's a service, like a cell phone company, I'm getting a cell phone service provided, it's my service provider, right? Sprint. But I'm not a client, I'm a customer, because it's generalized service. It's just a generalized kind of cookie box, kind of one size fits all. Thousands of other people are getting the same service as me, as far as cell phone is concerned, right? So it's generalized services. That's what a customer is, right? So a customer is someone who's purchasing goods or services that are generalized, and it's usually unskilled labor. A client is someone who is under the protect, and this is from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, someone who's under the protection of another. So think about a lawyer, right? They're under the protection of the client is under the protection of their lawyers. That, what is that? Confidentiality, a CPA, an accountant, they have clients, right? An accountant has clients because it's individualized service, right? Individualized in its professional or skilled labor. And so a lawyer would protect their client. Also, a CPA, if I ever got audited from the IRS, my accountant, would help protect me, right? And this is the second definition: a person who engages professional advice or services. So exactly like a lawyer, a therapist, as an accountant, even like a physical trainer, right, would be getting would be a client because you're getting professional advice and services. It's individualized, you know. So I think that's the key distinction to make. Customers shop from like big companies and stores and retail shops, and they're getting generalized services, products, goods. It's like the same thing that anybody else can come and buy, right? That's a customer. A client is someone who is looking for a specialized service that's individualized for their unique situation, right? And that is a client. So when you have customers, and so here's the thing, even though we're doing this, providing the same service, which is dog grooming, right? If we provide the service in a way where, well, it is skilled, but in a way where it's kind of generalized service where everybody else, it's like a big company. And that's why a lot of the big box stores that offer grooming, I feel like they have customers, not clients, even though they're offering dog grooming just like I am, or, a lot of these smaller shops are, because it's a big box store and they have hundreds of people coming in, and, and they're all getting a kind of a generalized service, then I feel like it's a customer, and customers are not very loyal, you know. They don't really have a reason to be, right? So if you're if you're running your grooming shop like a big box store or like a big company, big corporation, and you're using the same advertising techniques the way that they would try to get more customers, then you're not really going to appeal to clients, right? So you want to make sure, do I want customers who are just purchasing goods? They don't really care about the skill and all that stuff. And that's the people who are going to be complaining about how long it's taking. They're going to be the ones who, if something happens, they put a bad review on Yelp and things like that. Those are customers. And I feel like it would be better to look for clients. As far as dog groomers are concerned, dog grooming is a very skilled job. We have to have a little bit of knowledge of dog behavior. We have to know about all kinds of stuff, right? So because it is such a skilled labor and we are professionals and it is individualized services, because every dog is unique and every dog presents different challenges, and every client is unique, a dog owner is unique, and they're going to come with their own set of challenges and things like that, their own issues. And so we really have to be, sometimes we act like therapists, like psychiatrists or something, because the dog owners will come in and start telling us things that are going on in their personal life even. And so we have to play a lot of roles, but it's very individualized, skilled labor that we're providing. And so just like a lawyer, before you even hire a lawyer and retain their services, you first have to sit down and have a consultation, right? And you have to pay for the consultation, that hour. And then, you get a good feel of how you get, that's the time that you come up with a game plan, see if you're a good fit, if you're going to move forward. And then you have to pay for their services afterwards, because it's individualized and you're hiring their advice, and their professional skills, their experience. And so same thing with dog groomers. I feel like once we understand that we're not dealing with customers, so stop looking for customers, stop marketing to customers, and stop trying to get more customers, and just start looking for clients, because clients are loyal. The level of loyalty between a customer and a client is huge. A customer is always just going to shop for one grooming shop to another. Whoever's got the best deal going on, whoever's got the best special or whatever, So the customers are the shop jumpers and the price shoppers, they're not very loyal. Clients are the ones who are going to really be the ones that support your business, because they're every month, like poodles, Bijans, these dogs that need haircuts every month. These clients are really counting on your professional skill and advice. So we can almost, okay. So here's the thing. Let's say you're working at a cell phone store. Oh, what's up, Bargil? Yeah, it's been a while. I actually wasn't even going to stream, but this conversation I had tonight with David T, actually, our favorite dog dad, and like Galaxy Art. We started talking, this came up a couple times today while I was hanging out with David, but I was thinking I'm not going to talk about this during the workshop this weekend. But I felt like this was something pretty important to cover because I think that a lot of times what grooming shops do, and I've worked at them, they'll send out these discounts and stuff like, hey, if you schedule your groom within the next 2 weeks, you get a special discount, and I understand you're trying to generate more, appointments and people scheduling and things like that. But if you do that, right, because that's how retail shops, that's how, company like Sears, JC Penney, that's how they advertise. They send out flyers and discounts and stuff like that. But those are big companies, PetSmart and Petco can't even get away with that because they're big box stores. They got customers. Even though the big box stores are offering grooming services like us, it's a generalized service in their retail stores, and they have hundreds of customers, just like my utility, like gas company, we are getting a service from the gas company or electric company. It is a service that we're purchasing, but it's not a unique individualized service. It's the same service that all my neighbors here in this neighborhood, hundreds of people get the same service as me, so even though it's a service, electric, I get my electric service, I'm not a client to my electric company. I am their customer. And because I'm just one of hundreds, right, that get the same service as everyone else. A client is somebody who feels protected, first of all, like a lawyer protects their client, like a CPA protects their client from the IRS. A client feels protected, feels safe. You give them peace of mind, right? A client is someone who feels loyal to you because you give them peace of mind. They feel protected. Also, they're hiring you for your advice, your expertise, your knowledge, and your skills. And it's a professional skill that's individualized. It has to feel unique for that person, for that dog, and that's what really helps your business thrive. Because if you're always looking for new customers, it's so stressful. But if you're just serving your clients well every month, then it's a joy because now it's a relationship. Bargil, speaking of that, the salon I currently work for is shutting down. Nobody, even the owner, wanted or expected it to happen at all. And now I'm going to be out of a job in a few weeks. Ooh. But, Bargil, what's stopping you from starting on your own like I do? Just grooming a few dogs a day, setting up in the people's homes, using their tub or their sink or their shower. What's stopping you from doing it on your own? Maybe what was stopping me, I didn't think that it would work. I didn't think that people would want me coming into their house, making a mess, spending so long on their dogs, being in their house for so long. I didn't think people would like it. I didn't think it would work out. And I thought I was going to go broke. But I guess you have to ask yourself, what if the opposite is true? What if it works out amazingly and people love you and they can't tell enough people about you and now you're busy? You never know unless you try. Cheetah Karina, yeah, you are grooming. Are you grooming or bathing? I just recently switched job from the big corporate to a smaller business as a bather. Hey, June. Hey, what's up, Cheetah? Okay, so she's asking Bargil, are you a bather or a groomer? Because that, if you're still a bather and kind of not really confident in your grooming skill and your haircut skills, then yeah, maybe find someone you can apprentice under. And I don't know what your financial situation is, but maybe what you could do is get a like, a job that'll at least cover the bills, and then your off days offer to volunteer your time to help a groomer, because a groomer will usually offer to teach you how to groom if there's some benefit in it for them. So either you got to be willing to pay them lots of money, or offer your help, volunteer your help for free. And that means that you got to be willing to clean some shit, and you got to be willing to do the dirty work, clean out their water trap that gets really nasty, and and do things like that, do things that they don't want to do, right? And you offer you volunteer your time and help them by doing things that they don't want to do, cleaning up their shop and things like that, in exchange for them teaching you how to groom, when they're doing the haircuts on the dogs. You could do something like that. Bargo, I'm just bathing, but was on my way to train to become a groomer. I'm absolutely not giving up though, but what happened set me back quite a bit. Yeah, but each setback there's always a seed of opportunity in every failure. You have to look for it though. So anything that happens, and Bob Proctor was doing this one interview, and the interviewer was kind of pressing him on that topic. He was like, "So what if I wake up in the morning, my tire is flat, and I'm going to be late for work?" And Bob Proctor was saying, somewhere in that, he was like, sometimes you have to look really hard, but somewhere in that situation, something good can come out of that. You just have to look for it. And he was like, okay, well, what if I do fix the tires, and then on the way to work, I'm already late and I get in an accident? He was like, and Bob Proctor was like, you have to, it may not make sense while you're going through it, but when you look back at all of it, you'll say, aha, that's why that happened. You just have to have faith that something good is always going to come out of something bad or seemingly bad. Cheetah Karina, I believe in you, Bargil. We are in this together. I'm learning a lot from YouTube and my own research. Awesome. I mean, the thing is, it's just hours in the saddle. You just got to be willing to keep doing it, right? Just like archery, I was convinced that I had something wrong with me. I was convinced that I'll just never be a good archer. I was like, I'm never gonna get this. But then, and the crazy thing is, I even felt some anxiety every time I put another arrow and string it, and then I'm about to pull back. I would feel this anxiety because I know I'm gonna suck, and I know that arrow's just gonna fly who knows where, and then I'm gonna have to go and look for it, But then, I don't know, your brain starts to download the information without even us knowing it subconsciously. Every time you do it over and over, your brain starts to download more and more information. And that's why, oh my goodness, after talking to David T, David T was talking about baseball, how he grew up playing baseball, and it's like not, like he can hit a ball like without even thinking about it anymore. Because he was like, from the age of like 4 to 7, that's all he did, years of just over and over again. So he's saying now he doesn't even think about it. His body just knows what to do. And that's the thing. It's like, just like me, I'm now able to hit the target with my arrows. It's like after a while, your body just starts to know what your brain downloads the information. You start to notice things. David was saying that now when he sees a pitcher throw a ball, his eye just catches things in milliseconds. He knows how the ball's about to come. And you can't train for that. You can't study that in a book. You just got to keep doing it over and over. I can't hit a ball. Personally, I was telling him, I went to a batting range one time, and I went to the 70-mile balls, the little machine that spits the balls out, 70 miles per hour. Not that fast, right? Oh my God. I couldn't even see the ball. I was like, what? So then I went to a 50-mile-per-hour one. Again, I mean, a little slower, but I couldn't even hit the balls. And then this kid comes in. I mean, he must have been maybe in middle school. I don't know. I mean, a kid, right? He's just hitting them. Bing, bing. I was like, let's go home. We're leaving. I'm through. Like, so the thing is, but that kid probably practices every day, hours and hours. I'm not gonna able to replicate that in just one night. So Bargil, Cheetah, give yourselves time. Just every day, be willing to go in and really focus on what you're doing so your brain can download the data every day. And then before you know it, you just wake up one day, you just like, everything's just clicking, like I get it. I'm starting to get it, And another good thing is to picture yourself as a talented, skilled groomer. Imagine it, visualize yourself. How would you walk? How would you carry yourself? How would you approach the dog? How would you hold the scissors or the comb? How would you wash the dog? You know, if you were this master, skilled, talented groomer, how would you behave? Would you carry yourself differently? And behave that way. Be that, right? Bargill, thanks. Honestly, it's not horrible news. More of a bummer since I already have another job. Perfect. I've learned a lot though. So going back to PetSmart might be a good option since they know I haven't quit. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, going to PetSmart, I'm not trying to down PetSmart or any big box stores. Actually several great groomers that I've met, they come from PetSmart. So, Cheetah says, I like that mentality, June. I'm gonna try that. Be the master groomer. Yeah. I felt the same way with rock climbing when it came to repetition. Exactly. It's repetition. Hours on the mat, hours in the saddle, Bargill, I've tried the local salons and vets, but nobody seems to be hiring anyone except groomers. And since I'm just a bather, I couldn't get in anywhere. You'd be surprised though. Try what is it? Groomer.com or something like that. But anyways, there's a lot of good forums, like good grooming forums, like online classifieds, and you can pick by state. I wish I can't think of it right now. I think it's groomermagazine.com. But anyways, Cheetah says, I got my job by asking to volunteer a day out of my week at a dog kennel while working at PetSmart. I got lucky though because I used to manage the daycare side of the business. Oh, okay. Yeah. And the thing is, Bargill, like the best way to get in is to give them something juicy, something that where it's like, wow, like what do you have to lose? Like offer a day for, a day that you'll volunteer a day or something like that, But it has been amazing to only have to do the dogs on my schedule and have my own business essentially. Oh yeah. the freedom that comes from having an established clientele when you're not looking for customers anymore and you're not wondering or feeling any anxiety about where your next source of income, where your next paycheck's coming from. You have a steady source of income because you have a loyal clientele. That's the point you want to get to. And the only way to get to this point where you have a booked out client, you have a full client list, you cannot take any more clients, you have a waiting list, you're in high demand, you're able to make a comfortable living. The only way to get to that point is by patience and persistence. And you just got to give yourself time and every single day be willing to go at it 100%. Here's one thing I wanted to talk about. Race to the top, don't race to the bottom. What does that mean? It means that, Bargill says, thanks for the advice, June and Karina. I've got to go, but I have a few opportunities. I'll try next week. And I'll, of course, checking back to the places I went. Good night. Awesome. Thanks, Bargill. Okay, so when you're after customers, what happens is a lot of times, because customers are not very loyal, right? They're always jumping from the next best deal to the next best deal. Anybody that's a few dollars cheaper, you're liable to lose their business, right? So because that's the nature of the business with customers, a lot of times when you're marketing to customers, when you're advertising to customers, and you're trying to attract more customers, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to give discounts, lower your prices, and things like that. That is a race to the bottom, because then if anybody wants to get into that competition, that race with you, now they're going to have to lower their prices a little bit and try to give a little better discount. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to give a little bit better discount. Now you're both racing to the bottom, and whoever wins is charging next to nothing. And now everyone loses. So instead of racing to the bottom, race to the top. How do you race to the top? Well, you raise your prices, right? You raise the value of your services. You become more valuable in the marketplace by having your demand increase. Scarcity builds value. And because you can no longer accept any more clients, and you have a waiting list, and you're booked out, and you're in high demand, people are talking good about you. Now, instead of racing to the bottom, you're racing to the top. You can charge more for your services. And then if anybody wants to get in on this race with you, maybe they can become more skilled and they can up their game and their level of service that they provide. And then they can charge a little more. Now you're both charging a little more. Now whoever wins, you both win because you're both charging more than you used to, you know? So instead of racing to the bottom by trying to get customers, I got 150 customers. I got 3,000 customers. Who cares? You know, how many of them are loyal, right? I have 32 clients right now, and I am booked and busy. They keep me more busy than I can really handle. You know, it's not about the numbers. It's about quality. It's about how much they value you, how much you value yourself. And then you really don't need the masses. You just need a small niche. You just need a small group that's loyal, that believes in what you believe, and they're loyal to what you're doing. They're supporting you. Here's another thing that I haven't mentioned. So customer is pretty much the lowest point, right? If you when you're dealing with customers and that's all you have is customers and you're always looking for new customers, um, that's like the lowest level, I believe, of fulfillment, lowest level of fulfillment, job fulfillment, where you're feeling satisfied and happy with your work. Client is the next level up when you're working with clients who value you, you know, and you enjoy who you're working with, you're developing relationships. That's the next level up. The top level above that, the max level, I believe, is when you start having patrons. Now, patrons back in the Renaissance periods, and you know, when Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and you know the Medici family who would support these artists. So patrons, a patron of the arts, was someone who was wealthy, well off, and they were so passionate about the arts. They were so supportive that they would provide a living wage for these artists that they believed in, right? And they would provide them a living wage just so they can produce art without the stress of where am I going to make, you know, how am I going to feed myself? So they give them a living wage so they don't have to stress and they can just make their art freely, right? And they want them to be more creative. That's what a patron is, a patron of the arts. So once you graduated from customers, now you're working with clients. The next step up from clients is to become an artist, become a linchpin, like Seth Godin talks about, indispensable, right? Someone who is extremely difficult to replace. Now you can start to attract and start working with patrons. Cheetah says 100% you are preaching. Oh, thank you. I'm trying not to preach these days, but Cheetah says this might be off topic, but what is your view on samples for your clients? I've been making little report cards for my dogs so their parents know what they're paying for. Okay. And then, but I am thinking of maybe making some homemade paw balm or something. Oh man, having patrons would be incredible. You'll never get patrons if you're always marketing to customers. You know, if you're marketing to customers, hey, Monday special, Wednesday's half off, a Thursday, I don't know, Thirsty Thursdays, bring your thirsty pet and we'll give them a free facial treatment. Bring your pets on Friday and they'll get a free daycare. You're marketing to customers. And that kind of marketing doesn't attract clients, and it will never attract patrons. Patrons are looking for people who are extremely skilled, extremely passionate, extremely difficult to replace, right? They're looking for people like that. People like that who know their value will never market to clients or advertise themselves to customers, I mean. So just like Tim Ferriss says, if you want to stop making minimum wage income, you got to stop doing minimum wage tasks, right? If you want to stop dealing with minimum wage people, you've got to stop marketing, you know, in a minimum wage way. So Cheetah, was you asking like samples? I don't give free samples anymore. I don't do free, I don't, because yeah, I feel like, yeah, I mean, a lawyer wouldn't, you know, when I sat down with a lawyer last week, I had to pay $175 for 1 hour of their consultation time. And this is not even, I haven't even hired them yet. And I can't even hire them until I do that consultation. A lawyer is never going to give you a sample of their knowledge and expertise and sit down with you and give you advice as a sample. No, because they're looking for clients, right? They're not looking for customers. They're looking for clients. So, Cheetah, my opinion would be no, I don't give samples, because I'm a professional, I'm skilled, and this is individualized service. I need to get to know who you are. I need to get to know you. And that's part of my job. That's part of my expertise. So, yeah, it's not a sample. You're paying for it, like, but the thing is, I feel like I charge for my time and services when I show up and I'm actually grooming. But I feel like the information, it should be free. Sharing information, I believe should be free. Or could be. It could be free. And that's why I want to be the change that I want to see in the world. So when I learn helpful information, I want to share it for free. And that's what I'm doing on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I want to share information freely and be generous as possible. But when it comes to actually me going and physically performing the service or the task, I know that there's only one of me and I can only service so many people. So now that's become very valuable to me. And so for that, I must charge, the workshop tomorrow, I'm going to be there all day. I'm going to be actually doing it. So I realized I had to charge. I couldn't just let people come for free, So I was willing to, though. I was willing to let people come for free, but I realized I have to charge. And even on my side, if I'm going to a workshop like I'm about to provide, I would want to pay something, or I would feel bad. Even me just thinking as attending one. But yeah, so Cheetah Karina says, I understand what you're saying. Perfect. If a lawyer was willing to sit down and give me a sample consultation, I mean, I guess I would think either he's very generous and he's very, but then I'd be thinking, he must not be good, right? He must not be that good, because otherwise, why would he be willing to give me a free consultation as a sample to try to get my business? He must be desperate. He must need my business, And then all of a sudden, I don't want to give him my business because he's desperate. You know what I'm saying? It's weird like that, how the market works. It's like, just like a guy chasing a girl. If you're desperate for that girl, right, and you're too eager, you almost repel the girl that you really want. Yeah, it's interesting. So same thing with your clients. By being too eager, too desperate, and offering free samples, discounts, lower prices, things like that, it almost feels too desperate. It feels too eager, and then all of a sudden they don't want to give you their business anymore. You almost have to be like, playing a game with the girl. Interested but not too interested, right? I'm interested and I like you, and I think you're nice, but I can do without you too. I'm all right. I'm having fun over here, and that's kind of what gets the girl interested in you, right? I mean. But same thing with your clients in business. If you act too desperate, people don't want to give you their business. But if you act like, I am interested, I would appreciate your business, but I don't have to have it. It's cool, you can go somewhere else. All of a sudden they're like, especially when you don't even need their business more. And it's like, I can't take any more clients actually. I have a waiting list. Now there's like, oh really? Can I join your waiting list? Because you must be good, if people are. So that's the thing. So I would just avoid anything that makes it look like I'm trying to attract customers or anything that makes it look like I'm desperate for business. Um, Yo, what's up, amateur super fan? What's up, girl? Cheetah Creator, just focus on producing good work and it will speak for you. Exactly. Exactly. Let your work speak for itself. Do the kind of work that wows your customer. That's remarkable. As Seth Godin says, remarkable work is simply work that's worth making a remark about. You know, something where you do the groom, and because of the extra time you spent carting out that dead extra coat, you know, making sure this coat really feels, the hair feels nice and silky and soft, and the brittle, you know, kind of rough textures all combed and carted out, and then the dog goes home fluffy and nice and long, and you know, like looking like a nice fluffy teddy bear, and it actually lasts for 2-3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. And then after like around the 5th or 6th week, they started looking a little bad, you know, and that's when they're reminded, oh, you need to groom. I mean, this kind of stuff makes a big impact, makes a big impression on people. And then when you start grooming their dog again, they can't wait to tell their show. It's almost like they want to show off, like, look at my dog, look how good it looks, you know. And then it almost becomes to the point where people feel proud to tell people that you're their groomer. You know, who's your groomer, by the way? It's June the groomer. You know, it's like, oh, I've heard about him. He doesn't take any more clients. Yeah, you know, it's like it makes them feel good. Anyways, now it seems like I'm brag. I'm just okay. Cheetah says, I hope that my dogs have been holding up. Most of them are daycare dogs and go back in the yard before going home. The Oregon weather has not been kind the last few days. Yeah, but you know the thing is, even if the haircuts don't hold up, the fact that they know that their dogs like you and their dogs are okay with you, that's huge. That is huge. That's a huge selling point. I don't think that I think that we underestimate how important it is that the dog owners feel safe. They feel protected. They feel this peace of mind knowing that they're handing their dog off to someone that they can trust. You know, that you're not going to hurt their dog. Amateur superfan, Jesus, they put the dogs back in the yard. I would be so pissed. I mean, you know, they probably want their dogs outside and have fun after the groom. But yeah, I probably would too. I'd probably be like, dude, I just gave them a nice haircut. Can we just, you know, keep them in their kennel for a little bit? Cheetah says, haha, I always ask the parents what they would prefer because I would be too if I paid that much. Most of them want their dogs to have a good playtime, so they would be tired. Exactly. And that's the thing. I think as groomers, we care more because it's our work, you know? Well, with dog owners, you know, especially when a dog gets hurt by accident, a lot of dog owners tell me, I would rather have my dog happy and not hurt and looking not perfect, you know, rather than having them have a perfect haircut but they're injured, you know. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I think, and a lot of times I see something, I'm like, oh my goodness, let me fix that. They're like, no, don't worry about it, you know. So pet parents, um, I think what they're looking for first is someone who cares about the dogs, right? You really care. You can't fake it. It just shows if you genuinely care about the dogs or not. I think that's what they are looking for the most. And that's why I always tell people when you're starting off your business, don't worry about, oh, I was in this competition, I took these classes, I had this certification. These are all things you're trying to convince people that you're worthy, that you're skilled, you know, that you're credible. But really what people want to know is, can I trust you? Do you care? So instead of telling people your strengths, you know, what makes you better than the competition, tell people what makes you unique. Tell people why you got into grooming. You know, you want to tell this story because people care about why you do what you do. Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply reflects what you believe, right? Oh, he also points out that Martin Luther King Jr., he gave the explain that clearly to people and tell that story why you love grooming dogs. That's gonna do more for you than explaining why you're better than your competition, why you're more skilled. That's not gonna really draw and attract the loyalty of a client. A client is looking for someone who's passionate, who cares. They want to know why you are so passionate. Let's see here. Cheetah Crew. Sometimes I try and schedule it so they are picked up soon after their groom. But other days they are all daycare dogs. And yeah, what can you do, right? Can't do much about that, but it works out. Yeah, I mean, again, because the pet owners, they just want a happy dog, happy, comfortable dog. Amateur superfan, that makes sense. If it's like an Aussie, but if it's a doodle, man, oh man, watching my perfectly fluffed coat get wet totally depressed me. Yeah, I understand that because it is a lot of work. Cheetah Carino, it's sad when they come in like that and you just think, oh, this is all in vain. Like the Goldens, yeah, yeah, especially when the Goldens roll around in the mud, who love water, yeah. Whoa, Skyer, you finally woke up. I have a couple of emails to talk to you about. My assistant Rachel finally decided to join the rest of the world. Wow. I'm not sure. I think they said YouTube, you'll get a strike and they'll kind of ban you if you show alcohol bottles. So just wanted to show what I'm drinking. Tell me not to do something and I will probably do it. So anyways, I think they were saying that as soon as you start showing that you're drinking alcohol during a live stream, they'll cut your channel. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, so that's all I really wanted to share. Rachel, you're coming in on the end of the stream. But anyways, yeah, I'm serious though. I have a couple emails to talk to you about. Don't do the chicken dance again. I may not do the chicken dance, but I may choke the chicken tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Just remember, a customer is not going to be very loyal, and they're just there to purchase a good or service that anybody else can get, right? A client is somebody who feels that they're under your protection, they feel safe, and they're engaging you for your professional and advice and services. You're a consultant. So here, the example I was going to give. Okay, this is the last example I'll give. Somebody, like I said, if you're working at like a cell phone store, right? A cell phone service. Cheetah, thank you for your advice, Nigerian. Always appreciate it. Hope that you have a good weekend. Thank you so much. Yo, you added me on Instagram? Oh, okay. I'm a little crazy on Instagram. A little more crazy than I am here on YouTube. Anyways, so where was I going? Okay, so even if you're a cell phone service provider like Sprint, and Sprint, even though they're selling a service, it's the same service everyone else can get. So I'm actually a customer, even though they're my service provider. I'm not there. I wouldn't consider myself a client of my cell phone service provider. I would consider myself their customer. However, when I went in to buy the phone, the guy that was working in the Sprint store, he was very helpful. He was on the phone. He was explaining to me everything. He was explaining different options. It felt like he was consulting. He was giving me advice. So if I ever need any, and I drive by that store a lot, it's right down the street. So I know that if I needed anything, I would go to that store and I would ask for him again, because I almost feel like a client now. I feel a little loyalty there because he was very helpful and he gave me good advice, and he, it felt individualized. The way we were talking about Marvel Endgame, even we were vibing, man. I felt like we were kind of striking up a very nice conversation. I even saw a twinkle in his eye. I may have had a chance if I really had the courage to make a move. I think I may have had a chance with him. Anyways, um, so even though he deals with customers all day long, he literally turned me into a client, even though I was there as a customer, because of the way he approached his job with me, and he individualized the service. Even though it's the same service that everyone else is getting, he explained it to me and how it would benefit me and everything. He literally turned a customer into a client by the way he did his job. So that goes to Seth Godin's point. It doesn't matter what you do, anyone can do their job like an artist. Anybody. Even if you're going to work at a cell phone store and you're dealing with customers all day long, probably people who complain a lot and probably people who stress you out. But when I went in, he treated me as if I was the first person that walked in the door. Then nobody, and I walked in there closer to the evening, like 7 o'clock at night. Shout out to Thanos. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Anyway, how is Thanos so strong? Anyways, okay, so where was it going? Oh yeah, I asked him who his favorite superhero is. You know, who he connected with the most, who he feels like he relates to the most. He said Spider-Man. I was like, oh really? And he asked me who is mine. I was like, Tony Stark, baby. Shoot, Iron Man, without a doubt. Anyways, but I was telling him this movie though, this recent movie, Marvel Endgame, I kind of related to Thor a lot more. I felt like Thor. Anyways, but literally, Seth Godin was saying that just because you're a painter doesn't make you an artist, right? Because there's painters in China in a city called Dauphin all day long. They're pumping out oil paintings. You can buy the Mona Lisa there for about $30, but it's not the Mona Lisa, right? It's just it's just a copy. It's just someone who is very talented and skilled, but they're just copying what another artist created originally, right? So they're not artists, even though they're skilled, talented painters. They're not artists, right? But an artist, he's saying anybody can be an artist, even if you're a bank teller. It really doesn't matter what your occupation is. You can approach it like an artist and approach every single interaction as if it was new, you know, and individualized to this unique person in this unique situation. Oh, here's a good quote. Robin Sharma says, "Let your let the way that you do your work, let it move people, so that when someone watches you work, let tears come to their eyes, the way tears would come to someone's eyes if they looked up at the Sistine Chapel. You know, seeing such beauty, such dedication, and such intricate detail in everything. It literally, I haven't been there yet for myself, but he says it literally moves you to tears. And everyone that's been there who talks about it says the same thing. It moves you. Let your work move people the way that, you know, the way an artist's work will move somebody, you know? When you do that, you literally go past client level and you go to patron level, where now you only have a few patrons, these super wealthy people who are super passionate about the art, your art, whatever it is, and they're willing to pay you much more than what you're charging, you know, so that you can have a comfortable living wage, so you don't have to worry about the money anymore, because they care so much about your artwork. They believe in you. They believe what you believe. That's why it's so important to share what you believe more than what your strengths, what makes you better than. So instead of making these value statements, you know, I'm the best at this, I'm the specialist at this, I've done this many competitions, I've done this and I've done that. Instead of listing all your accomplishments and all your achievements and telling people what makes you so much better, that doesn't move people. What moves people is when you explain why you care so much, what makes you so different, because different is better in the end. What makes you so unique? You know, what makes you care so much about your work? When you're able to explain that clearly, then the people who care about your work just as much as you do, right? And they know I care, I'm crazy about their dogs. They know this. right? Now they're hiring me as an artist, as someone who cares so passionately about their dogs that now they feel safe. They feel like they're under my protection. They feel like they have a skilled professional who is individual, you know, tailoring the service to match their unique needs. Once you reach that level, you start working with patrons. Anyways, I think I beat this topic to death. But yeah, customers and clients, you have to understand the difference, because once you understand the difference, you then can understand, like, you can then make better decisions of how to market, who to market to, and how to market to them effectively. Hopefully that helps, guys. Have a good night.